Let the meltdown begin. MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing as we're going to break it down. UFC 175. What is this UFC that you speak of? We've been breaking down Bellator, World Series of Fighting, Invicta for seemingly the last 6 months. There's actually a UFC card, and it's actually a pretty good one. You're telling me it's Chad Mendes and Jose Aldo throwing it down in Brazil? Well, we're going to be breaking this down. We're going to crunch some numbers with Joey Odessa, the premier combat sport odds maker in the business, will join us from Costa Rica. I'm really surprised about the odds of this fight. It's not often that you're going to get a fighter of Aldo's pedigree in a minus 225 range, and that's exactly what he is right now. As Odessa always says, the countdown shows do their jobs, and they make you believe that the underdog has a shot of winning. It's a rematch. It's interesting. It's the first time both fighters have ever had a rematch in their careers. And as great as Aldo is, is Aldo better right now than he was the last time that he fought against Chad Mendes? We know that Chad Mendes is better. We know that Mendes has added another element to his game. So we're going to break this down. We got Glover Teixeira. We got Phil Davis on the card. We'll crunch some numbers with Joey Odessa. GSP might be coming back. War Machine's trying to kill himself and all that other stuff. But you know what? Ain't nobody got time for that. Because we got an Ultimate Fighter champion ready to step up and in. An Ultimate Fighter winner, the man who was recently successful against Bruno Santos. We broke down this fight, and I'll tell you what, Elias Theodorou was a big favorite, upwards of a minus 400 in this tilt. But he's passed every test with flying colors so far. Elias, what's going on, man? Thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us.
Hey, brother. Fantastic to be here, and thanks for your time.
Hey, you know what, or Elias, I always screw up Elias, Elias. I got a buddy named Elias, so I've been calling you Elias like, ever since I've seen you throwing it down. But congratulations on the Ultimate Fighter win, and congratulations on the fight against Santos. How good did you feel after winning your first real fight that didn't have anything to do with the Ultimate Fighter?
No, it feels fantastic, and just throw it out there with the name. I've been called far worse, so it's all good.
But you've been called better, too. You've been called better, too, so it goes both ways.
Yes, apparently so.
So,
but, with that being said, no, I feel great. I'm back into training already. Won a tough fight, and just hungry to get back in there.
What was the biggest challenge for you during the fight? He was pretty suffocating in the first couple of rounds, but you could kind of see that he was running out of gas. He was slowing down. And I forget who was doing the coverage during the fight. I think it might have been Brian Stan. He said, it looks like Theodorou was going for a choke, but this guy doesn't have a neck. He really was like a little fire hydrant in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, a little shipwreck house of sorts. But with that being said, honestly, I think the big takeaway of it was I gave him too much respect. There was moments like when I did have his neck, at first I thought I didn't really have it, but then after looking at the fight again, I noticed I really could have choked. And the thing is, I kind of respected the fact that he was a Pan Am brown belt champion. And what I basically took away from this is the idea, don't respect anyone while I'm in there in the cage, fight him, beat him, and then shake his hand and go the other way.
Yeah, I guess there's respect. Respect is one thing, but overcompensating for that, right? I mean, you're there for a reason. You're there because you believe you're better than the other guys, so you can't give the guys too much respect. It's funny, I was going to ask you that too. At what point, or are you still sort of growing mentally? Was there a certain fight that you said, you know what, I can compete in the UFC, I'm as good as anybody else out there, and I could be a future champion? Was there a certain turning point, or is it still a maturation process, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm definitely still working on it. There's so much more to grow. And even having win, I'm like I said, I'm hungry and I'm humbled about the idea of it was a tougher fight than the first one, and there's going to be just that much harder guys in front of me. I don't think it has to do with the time in the cage, because every single fight I kind of just learn a little bit more, get more comfortable, more in the zone, more in the moment. With that being said, just the kind of cool thing I get to do now is just travel across the world and train with some of the world's best. This last camp I was at TriStar, at BTT Canada, at Ash's place, at Titan's gym down there. And it's just the idea of training with Rory McDonald, training with Francis Carmone, and the people that I see on TV. Because in reality, I'm not afraid to fight. It's just getting over the idea of fighting these false idols that I have because I've seen these people on TV. I've been watching and looking up to them for so long. So once I get over punching one of the greats in the face, it's just on to the next one.
And it's funny because even as a broadcaster, I've had that moments as well. I'm a big Scotty Farrell fan, and I ended up hosting a show with Scotty Farrell. So and I'm sitting there thinking, man, 20 years ago, I was blazing a bong on a couch in Hollywood listening to this guy on the radio, and now I'm co-hosting a show with him. So I know what that's like, so to speak, to go through that stuff. Who's the guy in the gym, the most part, that you sort of had to wake up and say, I got to stop being a fan here and start training hard?
Well, it was as early as in Brazil, training with all the guys that I did on there when I was essentially a nobody. The idea that I'm training in the same room with Nogueira, Anderson Silva, and the list really went on, and Jacare, and so many more guys that were down there when I was there. And then going into this last fight, training with Rory, and the surreal moment with me sparring hard with Francis Carmont, who's a big dude, and having George St. Pierre in his corner telling him how to kick my ass. So it's a really cool, humbling thing, and I love every second of it.
You really do seem to be loving every second of it. I remember against your fight against Santos, they showed you in the room before, and you were smiling, man. You were mugging for the camera. You looked very loose. You were very comfortable. A lot of people talk, even guys that have been in the regional circuit for a long time. And, you've sort of, and I don't want to say it's been an overnight, for you, because you put a lot of work in, obviously. And you did fight in the regional stuff, and you were flying around. And I'm not saying that, but even guys that have been around like 20 fights, 30 fights, they get those UFC jitters. I can't tell just by looking at you, but you seem to really embrace the camera when the red light's coming on, and, the whole moment from the TV show, and, UFC jitters haven't seemed to got the best of you. Are you sort of above that, and you seem to just enjoy the process?
Well, yeah, I know. I definitely enjoy the process. I love every second of it in the sense that I work so hard to get where I am. One might say it's an overnight success that took 6 years to get there. And with that being said, I love every second, and I've worked so hard each camp and collectively to get there. So, of course, I have a smile on my face. I get to do what I love, and I get to beat up someone on TV and probably go home and get laid. So why wouldn't I have a smile year to year?
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. You know what? A lot of fighters aren't going home and getting laid after because they're all beat up and they're not the best looking guys coming in. You've got a lot of mainstream media because of your looks, because you've modeled before. Do you think it's helped you coming up, in which you fought in some dudes and they're thinking, man, this pretty boy, maybe like earlier in your career before people knew who you were, but do you think that was your advantage in the cage as well, where guys underestimated you because of that?
Oh, no, totally. I can think of like 2 or 3 moments where someone just basically under the breath of their mouth just uttered effing, what's it called, pretty boy, this fucking guy over here, look at him, screw him. And basically I gave him 38 stitches on his face, so that kind of sucked for him. He wasn't that pretty going in, and he was much less prettier going out. But with that being said, honestly, sure, I'm getting a lot of attention for, I guess, the exterior, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good I look, as long as I kick butt. That's what matters, because at the end of the day, the important thing is having your hand raised, and I've had it 11 times. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I got to tell you, I was very impressed, man, and I was very impressed with your win. You came in here, and we got to wrap it up here, but I just want to wrap it up with this. We came in here, there was a lot of pressure on the Canadian fighters, fighting on Canadian soil, and from an odds maker perspective, you guys were some pretty big favorites, and I was like, wow, that's some pressure right there. We'll wrap it up with this. Are you a gambling man at all in your real life, poker or anything like that? And are you aware of the odds for your fights at all? Did you know that you were like a 4-1 favorite? No, I definitely did, and that was one of the things I was putting out there. And actually, through the grapevine, I heard that poor Bruno heard that, and he did not understand it until someone really explained it to him, and it did not help in his advantage. But I'm not a gambling man, but with that being said, more and more people notice that if they're putting money on someone, it's me. It's a sure bet.
Well, that's pretty rock solid. And you know what? It's been a sure bet every time you stepped up into the cage so far, Elias. Thanks a lot, man, for taking the time to be us. We'd love to get you in studio sometime in the future, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future, man.
Truly appreciate it, brother. Let me know, and we'll plan something out, and we'll talk in the flesh.
All right, there he is, man. Elias Theodorou kicking it with us. All right, we're going to crunch some numbers when we come up. When we come back here with Joey Odessa, is going to join us from Costa Rica. I'm excited for this UFC 179 card, although I think I disagree with Odessa in the main event. So we're actually guaranteeing you a winner. We haven't done great with our picks recently on the program because it's been Bellator, and betting on Bellator is like betting on the Arena Football League compared to the NFL. Let's call it out for what it is. We got some NFL football back, i.e. some UFC. We're going to pick you some winners. MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network continues.